death now. This is like my favorite segment because I travel a lot. And I wrote a series of poems about the places that I've been. Actually, I've written basically a poem about every place that I've been. And they're kind of like dear to me because I like landscapes more than I like people. So I try to, give them their due. So these set of poems, which one am I going to do first? Yes. So this poem is about New York. I don't live in New York, but New York's like a second home to me. I'm basically there every weekend, and the majority of my friends live there. And how many people have been to New York? Yay! Then everybody will like this poem. New York's beautiful, but it's also really lonely. I wrote this in my friend's backseat. It's the weekend, and my niggas are laughing in the front seat, loud as a mountain speaks against a canyon. The car's moving, but their crash has trapped all of time in here, hysterically stagnant on a night where even the clouds are too high to move. It's Friday night mass of sorts, but smoked with the promise of communion over Corona and weed, and my faith is as far away as the Dead Sea. I keep thinking salt and light. Salt and light. The Bible talks about salt and light, but all I can taste are the tears of girls, age something. All I can see is the hope one thumb has in a rusty old lighter, are the headlights of young couples parked under the bridge, and he's tapping her hips like a tambourine. Sam says when he sings, the weekend sounds like sonar, like two orcas calling out for each other. I think, since when did echolocation become the music of our species? I mean, what is it that we're really trying to find this deep down? An epic love, violently romantic and tragic? Well, the Titanic drowned, and I feel obligated to point out that like most relationships, when the men jump ship, the women still survive, but I ain't got the iPod, so I keep silent. I'm in the back seat, learning new things like right turns on red in New York City are illegal, and that showing up on time means you care too much about people or your word, and that all the cool kids love wasting time, but nobody really likes spending it. Maybe that's why I love seeing love these days almost more than being in it. Can't really see how it's worth the effort, so I take note of all the crazy couples holding hands and call it clinical research. We pass by the dentist's office lining the streets where all the well-dressed beasts go to groom their fangs, where all the violent lions have shaved their manes in an attempt to be edgy while simultaneously fitting in. I took mine down to the scalp, so did Karim. Speaking of which, he's a couple steps in front of me, whispering in Lorena's ear, and I laugh automatic, but can't really remember the type of thing one whispers about. Perhaps I'd whisper at an opera, if I ever go. Perhaps virgins whisper with eyes closed on their wedding night, still believing it's a sin, but I've never been much of a whisperer, or a virgin for that matter, only in the name. And speaking of names, Miles is so beautiful that if he were a girl, he would be named Helen, for he surely would have started many wars, and none doubt this. Miles says he's a damn good man, though some doubt that, none more than he, which in turn makes him a better man than most. We kiss each other often, but never on the lips. We both know how cruel the tongue is, and friends are supposed to make each other feel safe, right? I look around. There are people everywhere, on everything. The city is a bipolar beauty, and sometimes I don't know whether she's kissing me or stoning me, and sometimes I don't know whether the skyline is really Rapunzel's last cry for rescue or if she's lowered her hair like a spider's noose, and sometimes I want the quiet to be more than a one-night stand. Sometimes I want it to stay past breakfast, and sometimes I want to run, get the hell out of town. But the train is never running late enough for me to steal my nerve. The train is the only thing in this city that still keeps its word.